What's up, Springfield Nation? Steve Leslie, YSNLive.com, home of the Springfield Tigers. Playoff edition, state semifinal will be Saturday night and in Zanesville against Fort Frye. Proud to be joined by Coach Guerriero. The show is sponsored by WRS Insurance Solutions. We're proud to have them as the sponsor of Springfield football all season long. First of all, Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me again. I said we got to keep doing this. Let's do it for two more. This one and another one, and I'll be happy.
I'm all with you on that. This one and another one. Let's go back, Coach, to Saturday night. We talked last week. You talked about how good a football team Creston Norwayne was. I had a chance to watch that game. For people that watched it, probably the best high school football game that people have ever watched. Talk about it a little bit and some of the craziness of that football game.
Well, you mean it was a battle back and forth throughout the whole game. Seeing the adversity that our kids ended up facing, but just the true battle of the football game was crazy. I mean, they kept throwing punches, our kids kept fighting back, and like you said, I just thought it was a great high school football game. And at this time of the season, I mean, everybody keeps asking, well, are they good? Well, right now, everybody's good. So I thought our kids, through that game, did a great job of battling for 4 quarters and never giving up and believing in the process and believing in each other. Overall, I could not have asked our kids, to face adversity better and to keep fighting.
Is that the best offense that you have seen this year facing them? They did it, running the football, had a decent pass game.
Well, again, they weren't very fancy. It's not like they did anything crazy, but they just lined up and they were trying to get downhill. And again, I couldn't say they were huge up front. Even their wideouts were like 6'3", 215 pounds. It's everywhere you looked, there was another monster. So, like I said, I think for our kids to be able to battle through that and continue fighting, it reminded me, a lot about the Trimble game last year. Of where it was just a battle. It was just who's going to get lined up and put their head down and just keep fighting. So they were definitely the most balanced. They had a good passing game. Quarterback made plays. They didn't make a ton of mistakes, and they capitalized on the mistakes that we ended up making.
Yeah, they capitalized on a big one. We're with Coach Guerriero, Coach's Corner, sponsored by WRS Insurance Solutions. Sean, they get the big onside kick, go down and score and get the 2-point conversion to go up 48-45. Take me from there. I know Anthony Romo and Jamie Thompson called the game for us. I was watching and listening. Their voice was the same way I'm sure your sideline was. 30-some seconds is a lot of time for Beau Brungard in this offense. I guess take the Springfield Nation. What was going on the sidelines when you get that football?
Well, it was kind of more of the conversation of coming out with the 2-point conversion. You know what I mean? They ended up calling out a timeout for the 2-point conversion. At that time, we kind of talked to our kids and said, guys, listen, if they don't get the 2-point conversion, they're up by 1. We were probably averaging the ball between the 35 and the 40 off of the kickoff return. They really didn't kick it deep. So we're thinking, hey, we can, with 3 timeouts, that's a lot of time to be able to travel. And we were thinking more of, just get in field position to have Clay, kick a field goal to tie it up or win it. They got the 2-point conversion. Our kids seemed not really down and jogged over, and then our kickoff return. You know what I mean? And what goes on with special teams, I'm a little bit more involved in. So I'm like, hey, we just got to get the ball, get downhill, get as many yards as we can. And I think we got the ball on the 41-yard line with, I don't know if it was 31 seconds left at that time. At that point, and I keep going back. When people ask me this question about the St. Thomas game, we had an opportunity right before halftime to run our 2-minute drill. And we ran the hook and ladder at that point to score on that, but we did not execute the 2-minute. We didn't get out of bounds one play. I don't know if we dropped the ball or we ran a wrong route. I can't really remember, but it was just, I was a little bit disappointed how we carried ourselves. And what a coachable moment, because how we ran that 2-minute drill. We got a back out on a linebacker with Clayton Nesbitt. Beau hit the check down. It was a 16-yard play. We got the ball, about midfield. We didn't have to burn a timeout. We got play. We ran a dig to Clay Medvick. He caught the ball. We got a timeout. Came back. We gave Beau 2 options, either a fade to the field or a back shoulder to Clay. He hit the back shoulder. We got our next thing we're on the 16 or yard line, I think. So at that point, we're like, okay, how many shots can we take? How many? I mean, let's try to end up putting 1 or 2 in the end zone to see if we can make a play. Well, Coach Brungard ended up going back to that play of, we call it Boilermaker. And overall, the kids execute that to a T between Lukas Yemma getting the handoff, pitching it to Nick Slight, getting the ball back to Beau Brungard. But on top of that, Nick picked up a huge block for us after he pitched it. And then people don't know, you think, Lukas Yemma's catching a touchdown. Clay Medvick took the corner and was almost at the safety and just cleared out that side. So Lukas was wide open, focused on the ball and catching it. And the execution of that drive overall was, you couldn't ask anything more from our kids.
Well, just a couple things on that. You hit a couple things. We're with Coach Guerriero, Coach's Corner, getting ready for the state semifinal, the next step for this team to win the state championship. I remember that talk we had a few weeks ago that you were disappointed in that 2-minute offense, that there were some things that you were working on. I don't think people understand, Sean, the amount of time that you run and work on those plays. Those things are worked on in practice. Those things are worked on constantly. And it's a play that you obviously work on a lot in practice and had a lot of confidence in.
You talking about Boilermaker?
Yes.
Yeah, that stuff, we have a couple of trick plays and some things that we end up working on. But usually if we have 5 minutes in the end of practice at doubles or during we'll install them one at a time. And then we, through the summer, and then it's kind of instilled to them. And then we work on those, once a day before a game. But, with the details and the stuff that we end up, going through and making sure we're walking through the protection or whatever, and then really look like more, complicated plays, but they're really not that complicated. And it's stuff that, like I said, we picked that play up from Purdue at a coaching clinic. And our kids kind of, they've worked for, so our kids are buying into it. When we call a play like that, where it's at crunch time, our kids believe that it's going to work out and we're going to execute it and we're going to score. And with that, even coming off from the 2-point conversion, like I said, our kids didn't blink an eye. They were ready to go, and whatever we had to do to win that, I believe our kids, would put themselves on the line to get the W.
Yeah, DJ's telling me to run the highlight, and he will do it too of the play. We have that play. That's the most amazing thing to me, Sean. Jamie Thompson and Anthony Romo called that play. We had over 10,000 hits on that feed of the Facebook. That has to, and kids will not remember that till after hopefully you win a state championship. But I love what you say there when you talk about the kids being confident in that, because you could see it. When they came off the field, most teams, you'll see the head drop, 34 seconds left. I didn't see that. And I thank your staff and you guys for working on all those things. A great play. But after I watched it a few times, I'm with you. Slight the block he makes to just chip that guy to give Beau enough time. That play will go down in Springfield history for a long time. And I think, will be the springboard for this team to win this state championship. After another big game this week. He said you can run it now. Can you run the play right now?
Yemma coming in motion. Brungard's going to be a reverse play. Back to Brungard, looking for Yemma. Touchdown Springfield with 5 seconds remaining. Lukas Yemma caught it in the end zone on the reverse. What a play. Springfield takes the lead. Oh my goodness. What a play. The fireworks are going off. Oh my goodness. Wow, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. Wow. The pure guts that it takes to go with that play. 11 seconds remaining. That's just so gutsy.
That's awesome. I seriously, that has to get your juices flowing every time you watch that. It has to.
Oh, it was. I actually saw it. I don't know if it was that night or the next morning. I saw the same thing. And for our kids to be able to be, again, in that situation, and that right there is the main reason why we had the game in Springfield.
Sure.
The hometown crowd, and like I said, we might only had 350 people there. But, to be – our kids got to be so happy to be a part of this community and the backing I'm just so proud of the position that I'm in. And I've said this many a times. I'm very fortunate right now to be the head coach at Springfield and to have the staff that I do and to have the kids, you know what I mean, back us in everything that we end up doing. But right there, if that doesn't put a smile on your face just because of the environment, it's crazy. And I couldn't thank the fans enough for coming out and supporting us, because that's what it's about right there. We talk about playing, you know what I mean, whether it's a Friday or Saturday night high school football. You mean that's what it is. And I was able to, we kind of talked about, I think, Coach Indorf a little bit, who was a guy I met in the North-South game 2 years ago. You mean, he's a great guy. A great head coach for Norwayne. What a high-quality guy. He does a great job with this program. But for our kids to be able to walk away out of that with a victory was just a great feeling for our kids. And you could see even at the end of the game, we got in the locker room, just the overwhelming feeling of our kids. Why it's hard to be a high school football player right now. I mean, I would put the time in and do. Everybody won't do it, but those are the kind of payoffs for our kids that makes it all worth it.
Well, it's a great payoff, and on behalf of myself and DJ and Brian and all of us, we're proud to be a part of it with YSN. I know Jamie Thompson and Anthony Romo love calling your football games. They will have the call, Springfield fans, Saturday night at 7 o'clock from Zanesville. We're looking forward to that. But let's dive in. This state semifinal, Sean, all 4 teams are undefeated. That shows, and you said this, every team left's a good football team. Fort Frye is 10-0. Tell Springfield Nation a little bit about them.
Well, with Fort Frye, I'll start off with their offense. They run the wing T, and it's not like they're like Norwayne. They're huge up front, but they probably average about 240, 230 up front. Very solid line. You can tell that they're coached well just by the way they get lined up and how they function. I mean, up front, I think by far is their strength. It seems like they trap and they pull and they do those type of things between their guards and their linemen and their fullback, and they come out to hurt you. I mean, those guys are trying to recreate the line of scrimmage, and they got a bunch of different skill kids with those 2 wings and the fullback. They have 2 good wideouts, but they rotate the kids. I mean, they can be very explosive. But with the wing T, I think they're going to try to control the ball a little bit, try to keep it away from us. And I said this last week, and I know we didn't do it at all times, but we got to try to win, first or second down to put them in 3rd and longs. I don't think, they like that situation, and they really haven't. They talk about facing adversity for us. They've had a schedule where they've beat up everybody. So with their offense, and next thing you know, they'll run. You start cheating your guys up, and they're going to hit you over top. And their passing game, they don't really exploit it. Like, they're not passing it, 20 times a game. But when they do pass, if you're not in the right spot, they're going to kill you with it. It'll turn to a big play or a touchdown. So they're a very solid offense that does not make mistakes. They don't have really any missed assignments that you can watch or a weak spot on there. They got a good, strong, 13, 14 kids, and up front they get after it. Defensively, they're going to run a 4-4. Again, same people that are on the O-line. Defensively, their D-line they're going to get hands on our linemen, or they're going to try to hold them off their backers. Their linebacker core is very athletic. They run to the football. And their secondary is going to get deep, and they're not going to let you, get anything behind you. So I think for our kids, we just got to take advantage of what they're going to give us offensively, and we just can't try to do too much.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games. Obviously, you said a wing T is going to try to hold the football, but you have to feel good. Beau Brungard last week, he was a part of all 7 touchdowns, had over 360 yards of total offense. A lot of the offense runs through him, but your offensive line is very good. Your skill guys and running backs are very good. How has practice been this week for this football team going into this game Saturday night?
Well, we want to make sure, because after this one, I always talk about this, we got to take care of our bodies. So we got to be able to make sure we're almost at 100% by Saturday. But at this time of the stage, it's got to be a little bit more mental for our kids. We started out a little bit slow because we really don't see the wing T a lot. So that was something that we try to take it slow and kind of amp it up each day for our kids. And for us, I think, and I had a conversation with our younger kids that run the scout team and do some different things for us. Those guys are going to be crucial this week. If we can get them to play at a fast pace and get them to, whether it's trap belly or the jet sweep or Dave running backside or counter, if we get those guys to run it, where they're going to give us a good look, it's definitely going to benefit us, because it's going to be a couple steps faster for our varsity guys. So we just got to make sure that defensively that it's about our eye discipline. We got to make sure we read our keys and make sure that we can't have everybody trying to stop jet sweep. We got to make sure we're trying. Our front four between our linebackers and tackles are trying to stop belly or trap, and our safeties and outside linebackers and corners are stopping jet sweep. We can't get nosy or we can't get greedy, and that's something that we've been harping on our kids all week for. Just you're not going to make every play. It's about doing your job, knowing your responsibility, and then playing fast.
Well, that's one of the things this football team does very well, Springfield fans, is play as a team, do your job, and they will get another win Saturday night. We will have the game on ysnlive.com/Springfield, audio only, 7 o'clock. Sean, we will be doing a pregame from 5:30 to 6:30. DJ and myself and a few guys will be in Zanesville. And also, Sean, we will have a crew at the Tigers table in Springfield during pregame for any Springfield fans not able to be at Zanesville. Will be able to listen to and hopefully watch the game there. Also for Springfield Nation, Coach, I know there's a send-off. I want to say 2 o'clock from Springfield High School Saturday to send you guys on your way to Zanesville. Exciting time for the community, exciting time for your football team. Talk about that a little bit. I know it's a business trip for sure, but it's also exciting to see your community back in full force.
And I just said that, from having our home games. The community backs us so well, and that's from our school, going out, and between our cheerleaders and our band and our administration, I think our teachers, everybody does a great job with that and supporting us and making sure, anything we end up needing to the point, it really is a community, fight right now that's gonna travel to Zanesville, and between the send-offs and stuff like that, we couldn't ask for anything else. Like I said, our kids are so lucky to be in this experience and be a part of this community with how much support that we end up having. And it'll be something that our kids will, they will remember for the rest of their lives.
Well, enjoy it. Have a safe trip. We will see you down in Zanesville Saturday night. They need you, Springfield Nation. It's the semifinals. We'll talk again, Coach, next week and get prepared to win that state championship. From DJ, myself, and all of us at YSN, wish you, the team, the staff, the best of luck. And all I got to say is just play Springfield Tiger football, and we'll come home with a big win.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Steve.
All righty. Have a good night, Coach.
Thanks.